Hey everyone, this is JackKnife. Welcome to a new episode of The Cutting Edge, where I'll be attempting to do a recap of every Jets game for the 2023 season. Keyword attempting. And if you're listening to this episode, I'm sure you all know by now. Only the New York Jets could take a game, dramatic comeback against a divisional opponent, Monday Night Football, a touchdown, a punt return touchdown in overtime to win the game. And yet after, you're just gut punched. Anyone else would be celebrating their team being 1-0, a big win against a divisional opponent, being first place in the AFC East. I don't care if it's only one game, it's still first place. And there's not many games in the NFL as opposed to the MLB, NHL, NBA. So every game means something. It doesn't matter. Because despite all the hype this offseason, all the acquisitions, this season's over. About an hour ago, it was just from the time of this recording, it was announced Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles last night. He only played 4 snaps with the New York Jets, and his career very well could be over after this. The one highlight of him in a Jet uniform, the one positive highlight we have of him, is him running out of the tunnel with the American flag. That's it. He played only 4 snaps, only had 1 pass attempt. And it was an incompletion because he was running for his life. And this reignites the debate over the MetLife turf. And they just replaced it for this season. Cornerback DJ Reed tweeted out that the NFL needs grass fields. But nope, apparently MetLife can't have that. They can for soccer games. They did that for a soccer game this summer, reportedly. I mean, and I say reportedly just because I don't watch soccer. Don't care enough about it. But no. The turf demons take another victim, and it basically ends the Jets season. Call back to 1999. Vinny Testaverde, week 1. Jets coming off of an AFC Championship appearance. No, he suffers an injury too. Out for the season. Difference was, that game, the Jets had Tom Tupa, their punter, come in and almost led them to a comeback. But they fell just short. By some divine miracle, Zach Wilson only made 1 major mistake, and the Jets still won. Zach Wilson should not be playing this game. Or shouldn't have been playing this game. He should have been on the sidelines, watching Aaron Rodgers, and just taking it all in, learning from him. Because despite the win, this just shows us he's not ready yet. Zach Wilson went 14 for 21, 140 yards, 1 touchdown, which I gotta credit Garrett Wilson for on that touchdown because it was a terrible throw. Amazing catch by Wilson. And, of course, the 1 big turnover. But at the same time, I can't fully blame him because he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off at some points. All that optimism I had in that episode I released a few days ago is gone. For the first time in 13 years, I was truly excited about a Jets season. And I had 5 questions going into that season. And 2 of them were answered. Could Aaron Rodgers put this team over? No. Because of the other question. Could the offensive line protect him? No. And say what you will about... You know what? I'm going to pump Robert Saleh's tires real quick. The aforementioned Vinny Testaverde, when he went down, Rich Cimini tweeted this earlier. I'm saying tweeted because I'm never going to call it X, whatever, or the equivalent is. That Bill Parcells just seemed lost after Testaverde went down. Robert Saleh, though, all the credit in the world. Not just for his ballsy call on 4th and 1 late in the game, but keeping the troops energized, keeping the spirits up, because I gotta tell you, when Rodgers was standing up and then I just watched him sit down, my heart sank. And you could just feel, even through the TV, you could just feel all the energy, all the loudness leave MetLife Stadium last night. But Robert Saleh didn't just crawl into the fetal position and just say, oh, fuck it, life's over. Unlike me, because right now my mindset is like, this season's over. Robert Saleh kept his foot on the gas. No pun intended. All gas, no brakes. And I genuinely love this guy. Like, I watched the replay of the Gibson touchdown last night, and it's awesome to see your head coach be so invested in his players. He's running into the celebration after the touchdown. It was just so great to see. So regardless, I think Robert Saleh's job is safe after this year. And I kind of think Joe Douglas' job is safe too, because of how well he did with picks like Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, etc. But any criticism of him and building this offensive line is legitimate. And I gotta say, you might say, oh, you won a game. Be positive. Be positive. No. Screw I hate this term. Screw toxic positivity. I've been waiting for 13 years to see this team in the playoffs. I've had nothing to be positive for. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be stupid and happy. I know bad football when I see it. You know why? Because I'm a New York Jets fan. I will say this, though. This year, this team has heart. This team has a freaking heart, because the old Jets, they would have withered away and died that game. This had loss all over it. But to go back on Robert Saleh, keeping spirits up, this team didn't quit. Especially the defense. The defense held the Buffalo Bills to just 5 third down conversions on 13 attempts. And if I'm not mistaken, the Bills were the best third down team in the league last year. Josh Allen, 29 for 41, 236 yards. He threw a touchdown to Stephon Diggs, but threw 3 interceptions. The Jets got 3 interceptions on one of the top quarterbacks of the league. They all went to one guy, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And actually, screw that. Screw getting into that in a little bit. We'll get to that now. Let's go to the top 3 performers of this game. This is my top 3. Number 1, Breece Hall. 10 carries for 127 yards. I think it's safe to say his knee is fine. I mean, he very well could have had a touchdown on that 83 or 80 plus yard run. Maybe he does score a touchdown if Garrett Wilson doesn't celebrate and blocks for him. At the same time, you could tell, he had to sit out for a lot of time. He needs time to get his lungs back. But speaking of Wilson, my number 2, Garrett Wilson. 5 receptions, 34 yards. Unbelievable touchdown catch. Just juggling it after Zach Wilson should have threw it behind his back. But no. Garrett Wilson basically acted like a cornerback in this play, deflected it away from the defender, and yet still was able to tip it to himself while falling on his ass. That's a fucking catch of the year candidate in week 1. And you know what? For an honorable mention, Xavier Gibson. This should be obvious. We all saw Hard Knocks. I'm assuming you saw Hard Knocks. He made it past Final Cuts. and how odds were so low for him. Undrafted free agent, was passed on in the draft last year. Didn't go to a Power 5 school. And he's the hero of tonight's game with a 65-yard punt return touchdown in overtime. And I feel just as bad for him as I do for Aaron Rodgers. Because that's such an amazing accomplishment. He's overcome so much. And yet it's all going to get overshadowed because of the Aaron Rodgers injury. And number one, on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, yet ironically enough, he was tied for second in receptions for the Jets this game, and that's Jordan Whitehead. Jordan Whitehead picked off Josh Allen 3 times this year. Josh Allen said after the game, like he was trying to force the ball. Sure, he might have been, but you know what? Jordan Whitehead did what he needed to do. And he stole the momentum back for the New York Jets. Especially that late one in the third. My worst performer of the game? I'd probably have to go with Dwayne Brown. Because he was the one who allowed Leonard Floyd to sack Aaron Rodgers. Now, this goes back to the Becton play earlier. They were expecting it to be a quick pass. Aaron Rodgers might have held onto the ball too long. One of the receivers might have did the wrong route. Doesn't matter. Your job is protect the quarterback's blind side. And I don't want to shit too much on Brown. Because from what I understood, he was feeling absolutely terrible about this. Told Aaron Rodgers he loved him, all that stuff. But at the same time, maybe it's not also entirely his fault. As I said before, not only because of Aaron Rodgers maybe holding on the ball too long, not only because maybe a wide receiver missing their assignment, but this just reignites the debate over turf at MetLife Stadium. And they just replaced this. Cornerback DJ Reed tweeted earlier today that every NFL field should have grass. And I agree with him. Grass has a lot more give than turf. Because if you watch that sack, you basically see Aaron Rodgers' ankle pop. And that might be the last play of his career. And don't tell me it can't be done. Because reportedly, and I'll only say reportedly because this is just a tweet I saw from some reporter. I can't remember his name. MetLife had a soccer game earlier this year. And they put in actual grass for that field. They put in grass. So don't tell me it can't be done. Would Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old. Maybe that Achilles tendon was going to give any time now. I don't know. But the debate is still back on about that turf. And to close it out, before we give a brief preview of next week, I got to say this. Initially, when we traded for Aaron Rodgers, I was like, all right, cool. I wasn't super excited. And, you know, my soon-to-be brother-in-law texted me about it. You know, I don't remember what I said to him. He was like, my guy, why aren't you excited? I ended up telling him. Because being a Jets fan, they taught me never to be happy. Like, you can look at their draft blunders. You could look at, you know, the butt fumble, Adam Gase, the Vinny Testaverde injury, 1999. Very similar to this. And Vinny Testaverde was an honorary captain of tonight's game, ironically enough. But the Jets taught me to never be happy. And I knew better. Because Hard Knocks came out. The preseason happened. And I did the worst thing I could have done. I got excited. But then 4 snaps later on offense, I just got the reminder. They're the New York Jets. And they have the right personnel, or right people on the sideline, as far as coaching goes, they have a good general manager for once. But karma just fucking hates this team. And karma hates me. My wife, my sister-in-law, my soon-to-be brother-in-law, we dropped $350 a head to go see the Jets play the Giants this year at MetLife. Because my future brother-in-law and I are Jets fans. My wife and sister-in-law, they're Giants fans. The reason those tickets were so expensive were because of Aaron Rodgers. We just paid a whole bunch of money to not see him. When we were faced, we paid a whole bunch of money to see him, only to not see him. Next week, we play the Dallas Cowboys, who absolutely demolished the New York Giants the night before, 40-0. Very similar to that game, the Giants had things going for them. They were driving, and just one little thing swung the momentum. But it seems like the Giants just laid down and died there. The Jets didn't in this case. Or in their case, rather. That being said, I can't see them beating the Cowboys. I can't see Dwayne Brown or Mekhi Becton holding back Micah Parsons. And it's obvious the leash is still on Zach Wilson for the foreseeable future, because he was running around with a chicken with his head cut off. Hell, he almost took the Jets out of field goal position, running back 15, 20 yards. And the Jets began to take momentum back because of the turnovers. And Nathaniel Hackett began to call more running plays instead. So I think it's only going to get worse from this point here. All that hype. Aaron Rodgers. Hard Knocks. Lazard, Cobb. Breece Hall coming back healthy. Dalvin Cook. And it just feels over now. Next week I'm going on my mini moon. I can't guarantee I'll be able to put out a recap the night of, the day after, or whatever. I'll see what I can do. But this is JackKnife. And yeah. All hope is gone for the New York Jets for the 2023 season. We can't have nice things. Have a wonderful night, everyone.